Good afternoon, traders. This is day one of small cap market open test trading. I'm still in a trade, so this is really a live trading session. I'll show you the trade in just a moment, but first let me show you the screener. I've actually taken two trades this morning. The first one did stop me out, and right now we are in trade number two. So first, my screener, the small cap screener is right here. Always click those three dots, click modify. So this is the textbook definition of what a small cap stock is. It's a stock that has a market capitalization of $300 million up to $2 billion. And of course, I could stretch that out and say, let's trade a little bit outside that level, but I just want to keep it as defined, a small cap stock. That way, after 100 trades, we could say, here's the results. This is what we can expect trading small cap stocks. We're not going to include any micro caps or any mid caps or anything like that. So that way the results actually mean something. The price range is going to be $5 to $100, at least for now. If after, say, 50 trades or so, I find out that very few trades we take are over $50, then I might change that. So once I have the screener open, I organize the list by volume. As always, I only look at the stocks on the first page because I like to use volume as an indication that there could be continuation in the direction that the price is going. So I'm only looking for stocks where the price is going up. And my criteria for this test is they must be trading with 5% change or better. And at the open, they must have 500,000 shares traded or more in order for me to consider them. And then I have some specific chart criteria that must be met as well. So this is the trade that I'm in right now. We're winning it so far, but there's no guarantees. I was in the red here for a little bit. So we'll see what happens with this trade. It may or may not win at this point. I have no idea. But all I'm doing is trading a very specific setup. It's only one single setup. That's all we're going to do for 100 trades. And that way we can define at the end, okay, this setup has a 38% probability of working out or whatever it might be. We're trading all or nothing 2R. So that means it's hard to see on this chart the way I have it zoomed out. But yeah, you can see now that our risk is here and then our profit target is here. So that is a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. And that means that when one trade wins, it can knock out two losers. So we already lost one trade this morning on this stock, and I'll show you what triggered the entry that I took on that trade, and then also this trade that I'm in right now. So this first yellow line marks out the previous session high. Now, I define that as the high established either in the pre-market, aftermarket of the previous day, or the previous day itself. So that's where this level comes from. It's from the previous day trading session right here. And you could see that that level was broken right at the open or near the open, only by 1 cent, but I don't really care about that. I'm just trying to make this as objective as possible so it's as easy to follow as possible and you don't have to think or try to make subjective decisions. When you do that, you open yourself up to emotion, and if things don't work out because of some subjective decision you made, you're going to be beating yourself up and saying, well, that didn't really meet my plan exactly. I kind of bent the rules. So we're going to have things very well defined so that you can only take a very specific setup. So once that previous high is broken, then you're waiting for a pullback, and then you're also waiting for that high of day to be broken. That is what separates this from the mid-cap market open trading we were doing previous to this. Our first entry would have been right here on the mid-cap market open, and actually would have worked out in this case, which is just ironic because when we were doing the mid-cap market open testing, that trade failed more often than any others. It only had about a 30% win rate. So it's just kind of, this is the way the market kind of teases you and tries to trick you into changing your strategy, changing your plan. But I'm going to stick with this because the idea is that mid caps are supposed to be a little bit more predictable, a little bit more stable. And if it doesn't work on a mid cap, then it shouldn't work on a small cap. That doesn't mean that's going to be the case, but we're going to find out after trading 100 trades here. So now, here's my criteria to take an entry on these small cap stocks is once that high of day, not the previous session high, but the new high of day has been broken, Then I look for an entry on a pullback, on the very first pullback. So I define that as the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. So as soon as a 1 minute candle makes a new high, which it did right here, I get in on the trade. And unfortunately on this trade, I got stopped out like a minute later. Then what happens is I have to look for the next trade as long as the price does not go below point A of, in this case, really the second ABCD pattern, because obviously at the open, let's see, what's the first candle of the day? Really this one. So this is the first ABCD pattern, A, B, C, and then obviously D ended up being way up here. And that would have been an easy 2-hour trade, as I said, but that's not part of this strategy, not part of this plan. So after I got stopped out of that trade, then here is the next pullback, or I guess the continuation of that first pullback. Then I get in for the next 1 minute candle to make a new high, which happened right here. So I entered there. The ideal entry would have been 562. There was no hesitation on my part. I triggered the hotkeys. So I took 1 cent slippage, which is not a big deal, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. And my stop loss is 1 cent below these two candles here, so 555. If I get stopped out of this trade, it's probably going to be the end of the trade day for me, because it's going to break down below that level more than likely. So this will probably be it. I'll probably just be taking these 2 trades today, and I'll update you later on in the comment section as to whether or not this trade worked out. Of course, eventually we'll do a review of the results as we go along this thing, looking at the spreadsheet. So you'll see it there as well. So this is day 1 of small cap market open test trading. Let me know what you think. And, you know, I know that maybe this stock doesn't look the best, but I'm just trying to trade off of price action and screener criteria, trying to make this thing as easy as possible to follow. And that's it. And then we'll know the results after 100 trades, and we'll go on from there. So as always, no matter what, have a plan for every single trade that you enter and stick to that plan. Always take your stop losses, honor your profit target, and in the long run, you should be green. Take care.